Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kevin Barger, the Director of Music Ministry at Epiphany Lutheran Church here in Richmond, Virginia. This is our Music Minute where we take a look at our hymns for tomorrow in worship, and we're going to go in order today. So we're going to start with Making Their Way. You might not know where that's coming from. That's from All Creation Sings, our new hymnal that we've been using. And this text is a beautiful text by Sister Dolores Duffner, and it states that everyone from all times, all places, all facets of society are all called to gather, to hear God's word, to offer thanks, to share in the Eucharistic meal. The author of this text is a prolific hymn writer, and she was born and raised on a farm in the Red River Valley of North Dakota. Now she's a member of St. Benedict's Monastery in St. Joseph, Minnesota. And this text is set to a sturdy Dutch tune, which in the ELW we know from 524 is What Is This Place? So this is Making Their Way. I bet you recognize that after we got going. The next hymn, our hymn of the day, is Taste and See. And this is one that we have most frequently done during the distribution of communion, which of course now we're not singing during the distribution of communion because of the virus. But this was originally written for the ordination of a priest, and this has been sung for the Pope's visit to the United States. A little trivia fact for you. It's based on the first 10 verses of Psalm 34. And the hymn writer is from none other than Mecklenburg County, Virginia. And of further interest, the hymn writer went to school at Virginia State University, Virginia Commonwealth University, and the University of Richmond. So lots of degrees. And then he moved to Austria. That's where he is today. So at any rate, this is Taste and See. All right, and then for our sending hymn tomorrow, this is Loaves Were Broken, Words Were Spoken. And the references, of course, are to the miracles in which Jesus fed gathered crowds and the Last Supper. The first two stanzas, if you have a chance to check out the words tomorrow, fittingly begin with a past tense phrase. Loaves were broken, words were spoken. Stanza 3 then brings us to the present tense, and when Jesus is present to us in Holy Communion, just as he promised. And then the final stanza sends us into the future, as we leave worship, gather together, and we share the good news and serve our neighbors. Herman Stumpley was a pastor and seminary president in Gettysburg, I believe, and his many hymns are ones that we've grown to love and sing numerous times here at Epiphany. So hopefully you will enjoy this. This is Loaves Were Broken, Words Were Spoken. You'll recognize the tune as something that we have done, Joyous Light of Glory, and I bet you'll recognize that as well. I'm going to switch to the piano for this. So one moment. Maybe you recognize that. Thanks again for joining us tonight. If you're going to join us for worship tomorrow in person, that would be in the sanctuary here at 8:30 and at 10:30. Please be aware that masks are strongly encouraged for those worship services now, and the worship leadership, pastors, and myself will be wearing those as well, so as we demonstrate our love for our neighbors and those who can't be vaccinated with us. And if you're going to join online, that would be at 10:30 on YouTube. And remember, this is the week that we are switching, so you can go to Facebook if you are still doing that, and you'll find a link that will take you directly over to YouTube, which is where it will be watched from now on. That should take care of some problems we were having with the video feeds, as Facebook was never really intended to be doing video feeds of the length and nature that we were doing. So YouTube is coming through for us. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Have a good evening. We'll talk with you next week.